Welcome to Driving Immersion for the immersive driving experience. Up ahead, Circuit Paul Ricard. A great race that is our most challenging so far. A race that brings out all the race variables, only available on Codemasters Formula One.
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking two wheels today, we're talking four, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. We have 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. The rain is coming down and making for a slippery racing surface, but luckily there is plenty of runoff available, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid bringing out a safety car during today's Grand Prix. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Now, can I talk to you about Sebastian Vettel? There's a new gearbox in the back of that car, which means a great penalty, and hopefully some excitement as they make their way through the field.
Fingers crossed that's one failure they won't have to worry about today, at least. There's not much of a silver lining to starting down the field with a penalty, but I think they'll be able to make some of that back up over the course of the race.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, and Albon, Perez, Vettel, they've taken a grid penalty, Sainz, and Lando Norris, Ocon, Gasly, Daniel Kvyat, and Magnussen, Grosjean, the Professor, Kimi Raikkonen, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Stroll, Schumacher, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
The team are expecting a lot after your podium last race. Concentrate on getting into the points and push on from there.
So here we are in the painted parking lot, and you can see that it is a rainy start. And for this race, we are starting in 16th place, and we were knocked out in the first qualifying session with just 2.5 minutes to go. We decided to park the car and avoid any wear and tear. And within that 2.5 minutes, the rain stopped, and the rest of the field went out and got faster laps. At 2.5 minutes, we were in 4th place as far as qualifying time in Q1, so we felt comfortable it was okay to park, and we did. And at the end of Q1, we saw that we were in 16th place. Everybody had gone out in the drying track and placed very fast lap times. Here's a look at our strategy. Even though it's raining, it may be considered light rain. Didn't look like light rain, but our team has put us on a two-stop strategy for the race. And these are dry tires here. There's two soft tires and one medium tire. So 14 and 28, they're giving me 14 laps on each tire, even though they are capable of doing 17 for the soft tires. So that gives us a little bit of a window in case we're doing well. But I think the rain is going to play a bigger effect on the race. And you can see here that our tank is completely full. In fact, we're going to be about 5 laps short of finishing. But if it rains heavier, or if there's any cautions, we should be able to catch up with the fuel there before we run out. So here we go.
Let's get the car up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
So here's our track map. 15 turns. Very sharp left into turn 1. And then back to the right. And then turn 2 is here.
Well, it is raining, but I don't see any spray from the tires.
Quick dive into turn 3 and 4 with a very sharp right-hander here for turn 5.
And those tires look a little bit glossy up ahead, so there is water on the track.
This light rain is going to be with us for a while now.
Turn 7 exits onto a DRS zone for a very long straight. Quick flip here to turn 8 on the left. Turn 9 on the right. Onto another straight. Into turn 10. And turn 10 here, we don't normally lift when it's dry, but today it is raining, so we will lift a little bit. And then we dive here into turn 11, which is a very long corner with a singular apex that you could use in multiple ways. Again, turn 12 here, very slow in the second or third gear. Turn 13, this winding right-hander. Turn 14 here, just before the pit entrance, and that will be very slow. Turn 15 here, another very sharp right-hander, all the way down to first gear, onto the start-finish straight into another DRS zone, 1 of 2. So the cars will take their places on the grid, and we'll wait for the grid to form. We are pretty far in back in 16th place, so shouldn't take very long. Here we are, the red lights are on. And we'll go when they're off. So a little bit of a drift there on the start. But we are quickly up the gears. We dive outside of the crowd and we are ahead just a couple of places. Had a collision there with seems like an AlphaTauri, and we are digging again into the crowd on the inside of the racing point. Until we are along the back straight, onto the long straight now. So the racing point takes a look inside, but not fast enough. Riding here with Sergio Perez, looking at the 66 from behind. Down through turn 10 there, very wide for the 66. Again, the conditions are very tricky. You can see that it's raining, but there's not enough tire spray to call for intermediates. Turn 14, turn 15, the very sharp right-hander. Back with the 66, looking forward at one of the Ferraris. I believe that is Sebastian Vettel.
Don't know how I was able to pass Vettel.
And we were able to get him under braking. No, that was, yeah, that is Sebastian Vettel. So as we mentioned at the start, we were knocked out of Q1 as we were putting times in during a rainy portion of qualifying, and then while we were in the garage, the track dried. So a lot of these cars here have a dry or drier setup to take advantage of the track. The track is very fast when it's dry, but however, we have the wet setup for the race, and right now it's showing a lot of grip, which is to our benefit. Of course, if it dries up, then we're going to be so much slower than the other cars. Sainz in the McLaren. And we're going to be able to take him under braking as well into turn 1.
Got the McLaren.
Again, we have a lot of wing here, so we are very fast in the slow, curvy sections. So we were able to take the Red Bull very easily.
Too early in the throttle there, and we are not saving gas.
Yeah, so we did start the race with a fuel deficit. I believe it was about 4.5 laps. And we have learned from experience that running in lean doesn't really help, but only for short periods of time. For example, while there's a safety car or heavy rain, where you can't use all the power that's available to you. So behind the Red Bull now. Not close enough to dive into turn 1. Turn 2 here. Onto the So up ahead we have Verstappen and Hamilton and the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Lap 4, we are in 5th place. So we've been very fast because of the rain. Looking back from the Red Bull at the 66. And we take a dive. Not enough. The very sharp right-hander, turn 15. Through the start-finish line. Little tap from behind, but no damage indicated. Riding with the Red Bull, you can see there the 66 went very wide. And the Red Bull is going to be so much faster down the straight as we have so much more wing than he does. However, here where it's hard braking, we have more grip. And he'll be able to mount another attack here on the straight. Back with the 66, very wide there. You can see that we hit one of the number plates. Still very wide. Again, Circuit Paul Ricard is very wide. There's a lot of runoff, and the track itself is wide that you can create different turns. Through 14 and 15 again. We are now behind the Mercedes. Great view from the helicopter with the rain falling. You can see there's still no tire spray. There's the very tricky right-hander in turn 5, turn 6 here. And turn 5 is very tricky because you have to slow the car all the way down to first gear. So as we move up the grid, the cars are going to be a greater challenge. We're not going to be able to get by the Mercedes here very easily. So our line there was very similar to Hamilton's ahead. And you can see that because we took the same line, we were able to keep up close to him. So coming out of turn 15, still a little wheel spin.
Lap of the race. Keep this up.
Even in 4th gear. We now have the fastest lap of the race, and we are right behind the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Looking inside, we are in and we are past.
Just got around Lewis. Very different race today.
Again, turn 5
You
is
have a
very
lot of
tricky.
wind on the car. And there you go. That's how much faster he is.
That is Lewis Hamilton with his DRS, and we take him under braking. Will Verstappen get him too? Yes, he does, as he is on the inside of the exit. Again, very wide through 11. And very wide through turn 12. So we get around the Mercedes. We are looking for a track along the course here that is going to keep us faster. Very tricky accelerating out of turn 9 as we don't have as much grip with the rain. Very wide again through turn 11. There is a parabolic function there that we need to figure out that's going to give us the fastest time through there. And hopefully before the end of the race, we'll be able to figure it out. Exiting out of turn 15, also very tricky as
Driver in front.
we are very slow. So we are figuring out here that our communications to the pit are not going through. Just a note out to the guys at Logitech with the Logitech G Hub software. Your software is only about 70% stable. There we are with Max Verstappen trying to get in. He does have the speed on the straights along with the DRS open, but again, we are able to outbrake him with just more grip.
That was close.
Now that is the correct way around turn 11 without losing time or going off track. And we are riding with Max Verstappen looking at the 66 from behind. continue to drive on here. Our pit is scheduled for lap 14 on these soft red tires. We are now on lap 10. Looking for the conditions to change to indicate whether we should stay on dry tires or move on to the intermediates or even wets. But the rain seems steady.
Ahead is 5.0 seconds.
And the clouds are not too dark. Very white again through turn 11.
Continues to rain.
So as we've only done 10 laps, the lack of grip is not due to wear on the soft red tires. It is due to the constant drizzle. So we continue to have a wet track. You can see there that one of the McLarens, actually a Renault, has also come into the pits. So it may be possible that they started with worn red tires. So lap 11, we are in third place behind Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas. We can see Charles Leclerc just disappearing there in the horizon. We're riding with Lewis Hamilton here just behind the 66. No, that is the Red Bull. Of Verstappen, and then the 66 coming in through the infield sections here. The pit entrance just there on the right.
In this lap, push now.
So we are in our window. They were expecting or projecting that we would come in on lap 14. The pit is now saying lap 12. However, we have Verstappen and Hamilton right behind us. And we may not be so willing to just let them go. We continue driving here with Lewis Hamilton, looking for any weaknesses ahead, whether it's Verstappen or the 66. It appears that Verstappen may be falling into the clutches of Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. Back with the 66. Oh, you can see there that Verstappen did jump into the pits to change tires. And we continue on. This would be lap 13. And I suppose we could have come in on lap 12 as the pit had instructed, but the red tires that we have on are actually still pretty good. And because of the wet conditions, we're not able to wear them out as fast. So we were scheduled to bring them in on lap 14. We may even go longer than that, as we are able to hold Lewis Hamilton back here. We pass the pits and continue on instead of coming in for a change. Now Lewis here has his yellow tire, so he's able to go longer without a pit stop. And as long as we stay ahead of him at this point in the race, we can hold him back. We may be going slower than him as we have the soft tires, which may be worn more than his. But at least we are holding him back. There he is. He's got a very good pull through 8 and 9. So he gets by here before we get to turn 14, and we come into the pits to change out of these soft tires. This is going to be our first of 2 pit stops.
To shift up through the gears earlier, it may help save more fuel.
So lap 15 now, we have recovered about 2.5 laps of fuel. And we've actually been running it on standard for most of the race. Once in a while we'll punch in the rich. So by the end of the race, we should be in a fuel surplus, depending on how things go. And if it rains heavier and we have to put on the wets, certainly we can run a less rich fuel mixture and save more fuel. So it looks like there was a yellow flag there momentarily.
Safety car. No overtaking. Reduce your pace.
So
Keep
there
your
is
belt
a
positive as we form up.
notification there that Carlos Sainz is out of the race, and that is
Drop your
the
speed. Our delta is too low, and we'll risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
reason for this caution period. And here's the replay. What happened to Carlos Sainz? He is in the McLaren. The orange car is just up ahead, and you can see a bunch of smoke coming out. It's not tire spray. That is an engine that has given out, and he is done for the day. So here he is trying to pull off the track, and you can see there that another McLaren has hit him. His teammate has hit him. Now he's going to come in and have to change that wing, pushing him further back, and that would be Lando Norris. Hit his own teammate. There is the hit. There are the parts, and now you can see the smoke coming out of Carlos Sainz's car, which had actually broke down before the impact with the other McLaren. I suppose he could have just pulled off to the right. But I believe there are no emergency exits to the right. And that may be the reason why he was moving towards the left. But now you have to change the wing on another McLaren. The last McLaren. So here we are, caught up with the safety car queue. It appears we are now in 5th place after the pit stop. And you can see there that there's 2 Mercedes, a Ferrari, and a Red Bull just ahead of us. We are riding with Valtteri Bottas, the number 77, in the Mercedes. And that would be Lewis Hamilton in the other Mercedes just ahead of him. And we look now onto the safety car to see if the lights will turn off, which will indicate that he's coming in. And Carlos Sainz was actually able to pull off to the right out of the race course, but he did leave some parts, and that may be what is going to slow down this safety car period.
Shifting up the gears a little sooner. This should help us save some fuel.
So here during the safety car period, we switched the fuel mixture to lean, just to avoid burning more fuel while going around the track. We are going pretty slow anyway, so we don't need the extra power. Through turn 8 and 9. So lights off on the safety car. We're going to be back to racing once we start once we cross the start-finish line. You can see here that Lewis Hamilton is holding us back from the safety car as the safety car makes its way into the pits.
Well, at least I'm racing with the front runners.
Behind us is Daniel Ricciardo and one of the Racing Points. There we are through turn 15, down the start-finish straight, and as soon as we cross that line, green flag.
Green flag.
Pretty restart for me.
Now, we don't usually do very well with the restarts as the tires get cold. I believe in Barcelona we were swamped a couple of times after the restarts, and we just can't figure out how to keep the tires warm during the safety car period. Again, very tricky turn 5. You got to bring the car all the way down to first gear, and you can attack it late and then
Nice and easy.
end up falling off the track, or you can attack it early and start to lose time. So behind us you can see there that the Renault and the Racing Point are racing. It looks like the Racing Point got ahead. And the front runners are just ahead of us, racing.
Very wide there.
But at this point, they're not getting away. We have fresh reds on the car, which were actually very good for us for the first stint. So let's see what we can do. Now you got a good view there of turn 15. It's actually more than a 90-degree turn. So you do have to slow down and attack it in first gear. Turn 6 there, you gotta wait to accelerate, as it is still very slippery and you are still in the middle of a turn. On our way down to turn 8, riding with one of the Ferraris, looking back at the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, and right behind him is the 66. Again, the track's very wide through here. There are multiple ways around, and it's going to depend on, of course, a drying track, but your other cars ahead of you as well. There we are, turn 15. Very unlikely place to pass, but because it's very slow, we were able to dive in under Max Verstappen.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online. The team want you to shift up through the gears earlier. They think it'll save fuel. The safety car is out. The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive.
So just after a few laps, we are back under the safety car. And I didn't get to see who it was or what the reason is.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Current.
There's a replay. This is Daniel Kvyat in the AlphaTauri. You can see there that his engine has given up as well, and that is the reason for the caution
Okay, slow
or
down,
safety car
slow
period.
down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
There's a replay again of his engine giving up. Back to the 66, we are trying to pull up to the safety car queue. And we have Max Verstappen behind us and Charles Leclerc ahead with one of the Mercedes just behind the safety car.
Keep going.
So lap 21, we are in third place, which is a positive result so far, but the race is not over.
Still raining.
Trying to keep the brakes warm and the tires warm. Lights are still on in the safety car, so it looks like we're going to go around again. Now lap 22, the rain has been steady at this rate throughout the race. However, it's not enough to change on to the intermediates, so we continue on with the dry tires. So we have the full field behind us. You can see we are in third place and coming from a restart. That's not a good thing to see, as we don't usually do very well once the green flag drops. And we are trying to keep the tires warm here. There we are, a pretty full field parading behind us in a safety car. Again, only happens in Formula One. And here's a good view why we consider this a painted parking lot. It's just so wide, and the track is only indicated by the painted asphalt there that you see past the horizon. It's all just painted and wide open. Very few features to indicate where you are or
Return
what
the position immediately, or we
turn
will
is
be
coming
penalised.
next,
There is no
which is what makes
overtaking
Circuit Paul
during the safety car
Ricard
period.
difficult. And it took us a long time in the time trial mode to get accustomed to the turns and when and where they happen and how to attack them.
Okay, the incident has been cleared. Let's Let's get back up to racing speed. We're leading our teammate by 6.0 seconds.
So lap 23, we are in third place with the fastest lap of the race so far. And right now we are riding with Max Verstappen to see if he can capitalize on the restart. Again, as we usually do very poorly once the green flag drops. Tires are still usually pretty cold, but here we have a lot of wing and a lot of grip on the softest tire, so it's not that much of a difficulty for us. Here we are along the straight, and he's got a good run on us. He's alongside of us, but we're able to outbrake him. He has to shortcut the left-hander. He's going to have another run at us as he gets a faster exit and a better line through the complex of 8 and 9. There we are, full train of cars down through turn 11. Now we're able to maintain the Red Bull of Max Verstappen behind us, but you can see there that the Mercedes and the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc have gotten away a little bit and have pretty good breathing room right now. So he continues to have a good exit out of turn 7, and we are going to be in a DRS zone that he can't capitalize on right now as a result of the restart. But if he's that close in the next couple of laps, he should be able to get around us, so we need to stay in front. Very good, and out of bounds again in turn 10. Turn 12. You can see we were very slow through there, and Max is right beside us. Now here's where he gets a good exit. Let's just see how he does. Nope, not close enough. Again, you can see the drops of rain falling, but there's very little tire spray, so that indicates that there's just not enough water on the track to move on to the intermediates. So we'll continue to race on these dry tires with limited grip. There's turn 10. And there is a better approach through turn 11, and we make it good this time. You can see that Max was not able to capitalize on that, and we keep him a little bit further behind. Turn 12 there. A little snap from too much power. Oh, you can see that I think Max hit us. I saw a part flying. It can't be ours because he was behind us, so it may be end wing flap for him. Let's see if we can get a closer view of his car.
Okay, gap ahead is 4.9 seconds.
Lap 26 of 53. We are more than halfway through. And we have endured this very light rain. With the limited grip of these dry tires. Now you can see there that we've got about a second, 1.9 seconds on Max Verstappen, so he is...
Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future.
So he is a little bit further back now, and we are starting to attack 10 and 11 with a much better line. Now turn 12 is the other tricky corner in that, again, there are no reference points, and it looks like just a regular left-hander, but it's actually very much like turn 15 in that you do have to slow the car down. And the secret to turn 12 is you attack it late, meaning that you attack the apex late. So you have to come in from the very far outside or the right hand of the corner. Unless, of course, there is a car right behind you that's trying to pass you, in which case you just take the inside, close the door, and hold them back. Turn 6 here, again, you gotta wait a little bit before you hit the throttle. And then there's a very small lift on turn 7, just before you get onto the straight.
DRS is very good.
Turn 15, we tried many different attacks to that turn. There was only one way, and that's in first gear. And you saw earlier in the race that we were able to pass somebody there. But again, there's only one way through there. You can't attack it early or you can't attack it late. You just gotta attack it slow. So lap 28 now, we are in fourth place. The other cars had stopped ahead. And at this point we should be coming in for our last set of tires, and that would be the yellows, to finish off the race. Now it is raining, and we still have to maintain the tire rule in that we have to use two different compounds because we haven't used the intermediates or the wets yet. And we may end up not using them at all if the rain continues on as it does. It's just not enough. So we will have to come in and change to a different compound from the reds. We've used two reds already. Now again at the circuit Paul Ricard, you can see that with the center pillar there for the halo, it's actually very hard to reference when the turns are coming. For example, turn 8 and 9 and turn 1 and 2 is just such a long straight that it's hard to see when the actual turn is coming or how far you are. So you have to look at your peripheral or your side vision for the brake markers. And then luckily for this track, there are actually pylons or bollards at the apex of the turns and turn indicators to let you know where the actual turn is. So as we approach turn 1 and turn 2 here, you can see there that there's nothing there. But if you look to your right, you can see the brake markers and then the yellow bollard for the apex of the turn. So we saw 1 and 2. Does that here as well for 3 and 4. And you can see there a marker for turn 5 as well. Now we've had a couple of safety car periods under this set of red tires, so they should be good for a couple of extra laps, and that's what we're doing. We should have come in on lap 28 as our original strategy structured. So here we are going again.
Understood, stopping this lap.
So we will come in at the end of this lap. There's really no need to go further on these tires. Nice view again from the helicopter. So when we put on the medium yellow tires, we're going to have them on just long enough that we don't exhaust them or wear them out to the finish of the race. So again, there's no need to go further on this set of softs. Still very little spray from the tires with the constant drizzle here at the circuit Paul Ricard. And again, through Q1 in qualifying, it was a very wet track, and we did score a good time to put us in the fourth for that qualifying session, and we thought that was going to be good enough, but you can see here that it dried up just like it did in qualifying, and that's why the other cars were faster than us in qualifying. But you can see here that for the race, because the track remains a constant wet drizzle, that our setup, which was made for the rain, is actually providing for us a lot of grip, and we're able to maximize the use of these red tires. We're going for another lap.
Gap to teammate behind.
So it looks like Valtteri has scored the fastest lap now, and he is behind us in second place. So he is catching. And that may be reason enough to bring this car in and change out.
Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
Turn 12, 13, and 14. And we should be coming into the pits here. There we are. So wait, they just put on another set of reds. And that is a big mistake. And again, because we haven't used the intermediate or wet tires, we have to use two different compounds, and it's going to require us to come in one more time and change into the yellows. So that was a big mistake. Now I think the reason for this is during one of the safety car periods when we had put on our second set, I believe it was the Daniel Kvyat safety car period, they had offered or projected a new strategy, and that required for another set of reds after this, or after the tires that we just changed out from. And I had said on the radio to keep the current race strategy, which would have put us on yellows. And that basically indicated when I pressed the accept button that we were going to go with a new strategy. So what happened was that we accepted the new strategy, which would put on another set of reds. So we are using 3 sets of reds, totally useless. But there's not much we can do about it now. The only thing we can do is to drive through this field, and that is going to be our task until we change out to the yellows. So we're going to try to wear out this set of reds just as much or as fast as we can. can see here that we've got 3 cars ahead of us. Looks like Daniel Ricciardo. Nope, that is one of the Mercedes. That is Lewis Hamilton, and right now he holds the fastest lap. And ahead of him is Max Verstappen, and I believe that would be Charles Leclerc just in front of him. 3 of the front runners that we're going to have to pass.
The gap behind us is 9.9 seconds.
Now, if you look on the cars that are ahead of us, doesn't matter which tire they have on now, whether it's the reds or the yellows, it's not likely that they'll have to stop again unless they did the same thing that we did, which is not very likely. So I have to pass them, get far enough ahead of all the 3 cars here, stop and change tires, and stay ahead of them. And the pit stop will usually cause us about 30 seconds worth of time. So I have to get at least 30 seconds ahead of these 3 cars. Or at least 2 of them in order to finish on the podium today. And we did finish on the podium in the last race, so we are expecting that here, and our car is actually very fast compared to the others. And again, it's because of the rain setup that we had kept on the car when we were knocked out of Q1. So here we are alongside the Mercedes. I believe that is Lewis Hamilton again. So we did get him. And that was the very tricky turn 5. But again, you have to go slow through there. So if you just poke your nose in there, you should have enough room to get through. And you can see here that he's challenging us. He is faster than us through the straights, but we are able to outbrake him. And we get by Max Verstappen as we are on the inside of the slow turn. Now keep in mind that we got a set of fresh reds here, so we are very fast with a lot of grip. We look onto the Ferrari now, and it appears we finally figured out that parabola function here through turn 11 and turn 10. That's going to give us a faster lap. Here's turn 12. Again, you have to attack from the outside. And that is going to keep us in line with the Ferrari just ahead. Looking back now at the 66. We are diving into turn 15. We are in. We are rubbing tires. And we get by.
Car keeps making fuel.
So we're in second place with Charles Leclerc, with Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton right behind us. Up ahead somewhere, we can't see him yet, Valtteri Bottas in first place. Now Valtteri is less than 10 seconds ahead of us, so we are going to have to try to catch him as well. Very good line through turn 12. And that is how much distance we've gained over the Mercedes and Ferrari and Red Bull behind us. This lap not very fast. You can see that we are about 1.5 seconds slower than our fastest lap. Okay, 7 seconds now behind Valtteri Bottas, so we are catching up to him. And I believe we put these tires on lap 31 or lap 32. And we are now on lap 37, so they are just about at their peak. And we need to take advantage of them and just drive them off. Very slow through turn 15, not the proper line, but we are out and running.
You're lapping around a second faster than the car ahead. Keep this up. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
So please, no more strategies.
Screw it with the strategies. You guys give me an extra pit stop. I should be on the yellows by now.
So you heard there the comment from the radio about the pit stops. Again, it was a result of not having communications with the pits. We are using the buttons on the steering wheel to modify the strategies, and you can see here that we had confirmed the change, and we checked to make sure that we are only going in to change onto the yellow tires. And I believe this is the last set of reds that we have available that are not used or broken in. A little excursion off the track there as we had a little bit of power snap as we regain traction. There is Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes. We are catching up to him, but you can see here that Hamilton is staying with us, leaving behind the Ferrari, and I can't even see Verstappen at this point. So coming into turn 4 and 5, you can see here that we've got a fast lap going, but only marginally. And we are catching on to Valtteri Bottas. We don't have to pass him, but because of his distance from Lewis Hamilton, which is just behind us, I believe he's behind by about 1.5 or so seconds, that we would have to get past him in order to get 30 seconds ahead of Lewis, who's behind us. Now, it's very possible that we could go for a third place finish, at least finishing on the podium. Again, if we stay far enough ahead of Charles Leclerc, he is about 10 seconds behind, so we need to put about 20 seconds on him, which means that we do have to pass Bottas here. Well, coming into turn 12, you can see there's quite a lot of drizzle coming down. And again, there's still no tire spray from the tires. So we're going to continue on, trying to go as fast as we can with this set of tires before they wear out, which will be very soon. Now, we don't have a lot of time to put a strategy together, but the race goes on to lap 53. There is no reason to come in and put a set of yellows and just do a couple, even 5 laps. What we need to do is get far enough ahead, put them on, and come back and see where we land behind Charles Leclerc. He is the car that we're going to have to pass in order to finish on the podium. The car that you see there in front of us and the one that you saw behind us are the 2 Mercedes. We're going to have to give up the podium to them, as again we have to come in and change out of these tires. We will not be able to pit and stay ahead or get back around them once we come in. So the strategy is to come in with just 10 laps to go. We are on lap 37 or 38 at this point, so in a few laps we will come in and change out of these reds and use the yellows for just about 10 laps, trying to get the most out of them. So that was a big snafu on the pit strategy, and again I believe it was due to the fact that we could not make radio contact to the pits thanks to Logitech for their Logitech G-Hub software. So we use a Logitech wireless G933 for gaming and communicating to the pits, which actually works very well. The original Logitech software that came with the headset was actually pretty good. It was a little bit laggy and maybe about 70%, 80% reliable, but they changed it over to this new G-Hub software, which handles their mice and their keyboards for gaming as well. But the 933 is kind of left behind as far as updates, and that's why it's not as reliable every time when you turn it on that it will work with the game, and you will have to go into the settings once you find out that it's not working and reset them. Unfortunately, we can't reset the settings in the middle of the race. So here we are catching up to Valtteri Bottas, and we are catching him fast enough that we should be able to get around him. Again, we won't be able to put enough time on him to finish ahead of him. But our concern now is the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, who will be in 3rd place once we come out of the pits. Looking back from Valtteri coming into turn 15, nothing doing. Sticking close to Valtteri Bottas. Even if we don't get past him, at least he's gonna lead us onto a faster line. Again, we will be coming in within a lap or two. So lap 42, we are right behind Valtteri. We do have our DRS open, but we are not close enough. It would be good to get by, but it's not absolutely necessary. We're going to have to watch out and see where we end up after we come out of the pits. Bumping wheels with Valtteri, he's not very forgiving. There we are, bumping wheels again. And this time we get past him. So we're going to go on to lap 43 without changing into the yellows.
Push now. We're boxing this lap.
So at this point, we are in first place on lap 43, but we're going to have to give that up because we have to change out of these tires. Not because they can't finish the race, because they can at this point, but we are required to use 2 different sets or 2 different compounds throughout the race. And there was a mix-up in the pit strategy, and the pit box actually put on the 3rd set of reds on our last pit stop instead of the yellows, in which case we would have been able to finish this race on the yellows and not have to come in again. And if that was the case, who's to say that we wouldn't be close or past Valtteri at this point? So there's a possible first place that had slipped out of our hands. But we are only halfway through the season, so there's a lot more racing to come. Now look for the 66 to come in this time. The pit entrance is just about there on the right with the dashed lines. Here we are. Very slow through here. You can hear the other cars passing by. So that was at least 1. We know that Valtteri would have passed us and Lewis will be passing us. Oh, so they are changing the nose.
A wing.
I didn't see any damage. There's another car that had passed us. That might be Leclerc. So there we are on our required set of 2nd compound with just 10 laps to go. Obviously these tires will go to the finish of the race. But now we have to drive them fast and catch up to Charles Leclerc here, who is now in 3rd place.
We're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
Okay, so we'll just have to disregard that. We are now chasing Charles Leclerc, who is 8.6 seconds ahead of us. Are we going to be fast enough to make that up before the end of the race, which is just 9 laps now? So 8.7. Coming into the final turn of lap 44, we are still 8.7 seconds behind. Now it will take about a lap or a lap and a half for these yellows to come in and warm up. .4 seconds now.
Paul's going to be with us for a while now.
.9 seconds. 6.4. So we are catching him. At this rate, we should be able to catch him before the end of the race. And then, of course, we'll still have to get by.
To the car behind is 10.8 seconds.
Very slow exit out of 12, but we have to make sure that we have the traction to come in through here. Yeah, so you can see here that the drizzle had remained constant throughout the race. There's still not a lot of spray from the tires, if any, but it is slick. And the car does drive very differently than as if the track was dry. Through the DRS zone after turn 7, and there's nobody ahead of us, so we can't take advantage of it. There we are. From this viewpoint, we can see there is a little red Ferrari just disappearing in the distance there. And that is how close we are to Charles Leclerc. 3.5 seconds now behind. Lap 46 of 53. Very wide there. But we're trying not to slow down as much as we can. So Charles Leclerc is definitely in our sights now in lap 44. I'm sorry, not 44. There, we just got a little bit of a hint of tire spray from Charles Leclerc's tires. We're definitely catching up to him, and at this rate we should be able to get by him. At least we are driving fast enough. Through the DRS zone there, you can see that we were not close enough to take advantage of it again. So we are coming onto some slow corners here on the track, so we should be able to make time like this. So we gained quite a bit of distance there through turn 10. Turn 12 here, you can see now that we're within just feet. Very close now. We bang wheels and dive in turn 5. For some reason, he was very slow coming into turn 5, so we just stuck our nose in it. Here he is. He's going to have a good run on us on the straights. And again, that is an indication just how much less swing that they have. He does have his DRS open. And we are staying in his draft. And we are trying to outbrake him. No touch. And we outbraked him into turn 8. We're ahead of him here in turn 9. We try to take the inside. But he pops back out under his wing coming into turn 10. Again, looking back from the car of Charles Leclerc and the Ferrari in 3rd place, and the 66 in 4th place. We should have just a handful of laps left. Lap 48 now. Lap 49. Still racing with the Ferrari. We get ahead in turn 1 and turn 2. He comes in and hits us. Coming out of turn 2, I believe that he was just sliding out too much and we were there.
Well, I don't know what happened.
So Charles Leclerc ends up spinning out of turn 2. Doesn't look like he had any damage. Obviously, we didn't have any damage.
2 seconds.
There he is. We were very slow on the exit, and he comes in and tries to get by, but
Nose in.
certainly the 66 was there. Here's another look.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
So very slow on the exit. There he is. He comes in and hits us on the side. Ends up spinning. And that should take him out of contention for the podium. So we're now in 3rd place with just a couple of laps left. We did just see a car disappearing off there in the distance. We have 2 cars left ahead of us, and that is the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton, respectively. And those are the cars that we're going to have to catch. So lap 50 of 53, we've got 18 seconds to make up. And another 6 to get to Valtteri Bottas. That's quite a task unless something catastrophic happens. Still 18 or 19 seconds. Now we should be faster than the cars ahead of us as we have much newer tires. So that car ahead that you just saw is not one of the Mercedes. That is not 18 seconds. That looks like a Williams. So the car ahead of us at this point is a back marker, the Williams. So at this point, it looks like we're just going to maintain our place in the race. We won't be able to make up that time ahead of us. We just got to make sure that whoever is behind us, and I believe that would still be Charles Leclerc, that they stay far enough back behind that we don't have to race with them. And it looks like they are. At this point, they have not gone through the straight yet. So lap 51. Lewis Hamilton is now 22 seconds ahead of us, 21. We are in third place and we do carry the fastest lap right now. Now you can see there the timing on the steering wheel that we do have a surplus of fuel at this point, and we continue to run rich.
Okay, gap ahead is 22.2 seconds.
Yep, 22 seconds is insurmountable at this point. Lap 52. Now we're not racing with the Williams ahead of us. And at this point, I don't think we even have to pass him. However, he will slow us down. We are 17 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc behind us. And it looks like something happened to Verstappen's car. He had dropped back behind Daniel Ricciardo.
2 laps of fuel remaining. This is your final lap of the race.
That was turn 1 and 2. Still haven't figured it out. It was very different with a lot of rain, and then very different with a dry track and the practice programs. So here with just a little bit of rain, it certainly was not either one. And again, because of the conditions, we still didn't figure it out. There is a faster exit out of turn 2. And you saw there that that was our difficulty with Charles Leclerc running into us on lap 49. But I think what went wrong here with the race is our communication to the pits. I think if we didn't have to come in for this fourth set of tires, and if we would have changed into the yellows one pit stop ago, we may be in the lead at this point. There's Valtteri Bottas. He has crossed the start-finish line.
Close to a victory, guys.
Yeah, that was pretty close to a victory. More racing ahead.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
So we're also awarded the driver of the day, as we did come up through the field quite a lot to finish on the podium.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. So, let's review the drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ants. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to the Professor. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? You must be thrilled to be up on the podium. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. Things were close between you and your rival, but it looks like you're coming up top, doesn't it? Appreciate your time.
Thanks for watching the race at Circuit Paul Ricard with Driving Immersion. You can see other Formula One races on our channels on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to comment below and let us know what you think of the race. We'll see you next time.